What's going on, guys? Sticks here with the Token Minorities, bringing you the battle for Week 4 of the DGBA, and this week we are up against Dragonite Man and his Montreal Giga Impact. And before I get into the team, just a reminder that if you guys like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, click that subscribe button, as it helps us out a lot, and let's just do more cool stuff for you guys. Now, last week, actually I believe it's gone in terms of what I've brought each week. The Heat, first week was 10-minute prep, so that was a theme team. Second week was a gravity team. Last week was a... what was that? Oh yeah, that's right, it was a Scarf Deoxys and the rest talk Mega Manectric. This week is going to be a tiny bit less heat in that there's only one heat set in an Agility Special Dragonite, but also Choice Scarf Floette, and much along the same lines of the Deoxys Speed. When I drafted it, less ironically, I wanted to bring a Choice Scarf Floette as soon as I drafted it at some point, so this presented the perfect opportunity for that. And the Dragonite, well, when I'm doing the team rundown, you'll see what it is. But either way, Rattata's team is Darkrai, Mega Lopunny, Zapdos, Excadrill, Latias, Azumarill, Deoxys Defense, Salazzle, Cofagrigus, and Breloom. And I actually don't have his Z-Mons written down. Probably like, I want to say it's like Azumarill and then maybe Excadrill or Latias, so something like that. I feel like it was some of those. I think Azumarill was definitely one of his Z-Mons, but I'm not sure. And so, yeah, I mean, his team is very scary, but I do think that Deoxys in particular is a good matchup, but also this really cool Dragonite set that I've been wanting to bring, or I wanted to bust out at some point this season, and this was the perfect opportunity to do that. It is going to be a special Hurricane, Ice Beam, Roost, and Agility Dragonite. Now, initially it was a weakness policy, but I was talking to Jolt about it. I was like, hey, is this enough heat? Because, I mean, obviously I want to bring enough heat each week for the team to be considered at least remotely heat. And he told me that weakness policy Roost was too real of a set. So I was like, fine. So I just threw a Skyplate on there instead. And he was still saying that that was sort of heat, but he let it stand. So Jolt allowed it to stand. But yeah, so I have a mixed Life Orb Deoxys, a Choice Scarf Floette, a Rocky Helmet Bronzong, and yes, I made sure that it was Rocky Helmet this time, a Tentacool with Liquid Ooze for potential Breloom and Azumarill, the special Dragonite, and then I believe this is just a Figgy Berry Recycle Muck that I'm using. So yeah, looking at his team, it's very, very threatening, but I'm thinking that, okay, screw it, let's lead with Floette and just see if we can catch like the Darkrai or the Breloom or the Salazzle turn 1 with a knockout. So that's exactly what I'm going to do, as unfortunately for me, he does lead off with his Excadrill, and as soon as this happened, I was like, I really should have expected that. So I had to get Floette out of dodge, and I'm going to go straight into the Dragonite, as I'm thinking that he could go for Iron Head or Earthquake, either of which Dragonite can take. And so now, with the Iron Head damage, that does reveal that he is going to be a Jolly Max Attack set. So I'm thinking that Rock Slide is not going to be able to KO me. I'll Agility up, and then I can Roost off damage and potentially punch a pretty solid hole in his team with the combination of Ice Beam and Hurricane, as nothing on his team really wants to take that. So I'm going to go for the Agility as he goes for another Iron Head, and unfortunately flinches me. So at that point I was really, really sad. I was like, oh, darn it. But I mean, like, that's on me for leaving Dragonite in. I mean, I was just kind of going for it. But now I'm going to go into my Bronzong, try to chip this Excadrill a little bit with my Rocky Helmet. As you do see, yes, I do have the Rocky Helmet this week, and I'm going to just go ahead and get my Stealth Rocks up as he goes into his Salazzle. Now, knowing that I still want the Bronzong for Excadrill, Azumarill, just like Rocky Helmet chip later, I'm going to go straight into my Tentacool and just try to scald this Salazzle as he goes for a sub. So this is going to be a sub-toxic set, as he does toxic my Tentacool, so taking nice advantage of the corrosion right there, as I am going to break the sub. And this turn, I don't know why I didn't expect Disable. I mean, like, that's a Salazzle set that's actually one of my personal favorites to see in action, but I mean, I was just clicking buttons, so I just went for the Scald once again, as I was like, I don't know, maybe he's going to protect or sub again, as he goes for Disable, and then I was just like, oh, right, well, that's really cool. So either way, Tentacool's poisoned. I don't have anything that can break the sub of the Salazzle, so I'm just going to go straight into my Deoxys, as I know this is going to get it poisoned. But I mean, Salazzle's just being a real annoyance at this point, so I have to somehow get that thing out of there. So I'm going to go for the knockoff, as it does break the Salazzle sub, and he is able to get a Toxic up, and now I'm just going to go for the Psycho Boost just to see what Salazzle's last move is, because it hasn't revealed the Protect yet, as it actually does go ahead and do that now. So Psycho Boost isn't going to do anything through the Protect, but I am just going to go for that again, as no matter what he goes into, I do have... I mean, Psycho Boost either hits it really hard, or I have something to deal with whatever he switches in. As he does go into his Darkrai, Psycho Boost obviously does nothing because it's a Dark type, and the Poison's racking up, so I am just going to go straight for the Superpower, and with my Max Attack and Life Orb, this is going to knock out the Darkrai. So, I mean, that's his unbanned Mon that's out of the way, so that's really nice, but Deoxys is also really, really low, so this just is kind of unfortunate at this point. He's going to go into his Azumarill, as I'm going to make the switch in my Tentacruel, as he could go for the Aqua Jet, or he could try to set up with me being at -1/-1, as he does go for the Power-Up Punch, and that does absolutely nothing, revealing that it is a... This is probably Sap Sipper, so I mean that would be his way of dealing with Superior, which is pretty cool, as I am going to go for the Sludge Bomb, get the Poison, and if I can get the same roll as last time, it will be able to kill it, but, I mean, it doesn't, and he is going to be able to knock me into poison range, but I mean that's just as well, as I got the poison on him, so I mean it kind of just was fair that I got the low roll, as we do have a double down of Azumarill and his Darkrai. Or not Darkrai, my Tentacruel and his Azumarill. Man, I'd like if he lost 2 Mons in one turn. But now, seeing that I don't necessarily think he's going to go Excadrill, so I'm just going to go straight into my Floette, as I was thinking he might go into something to try to take advantage of the Darkrai coming in. So I'm going to send my Floette in, and with a modest Light of Ruin, I have a good chance to knock out Zapdos just straight from full. Like after Stealth Rock, I believe with his set, it was a 50-50 roll to knock him out, so I am going to go straight for that. Hope I get the roll, as I unfortunately do not take a crap load of recoil. I was like, oh boy, ouch, as he is going to hit me with a Discharge. And now I'm going to go for that again to KO the Zapdos and then be in a pretty solid position, but unfortunately Light of Ruin misses, as he is going to take me out with the Discharge. Now, this is actually kind of funny. So, for whatever reason, going into this battle, I was under the impression that Light of Ruin was a 100% accurate move. And as I was clicking it for the first time, I was like, oh, it's actually 90%. Well, I mean, it probably won't come into play, and then it comes into play immediately, so it was just kind of... The irony was pretty funny, as my Floette is going to go down. I really don't have anything else that can come in on this Zapdos. I mean, I don't want, like, Bronzong, Muck to take a hit, so I'm just going to go straight into my Deoxys, go for a knockoff, as it'll hit something pretty hard, and Zapdos will go down. Deoxys only has a single hit left, and so now I'm in a pretty bad position, but I do think that Dragonite might be able to come through in the end if I'm able to get rid, or if I'm able to have Excadrill locked into Earthquake. Then Dragonite can come in, agility up, and I think I can win from that point. So his Salazzle comes in, it's revealed Protect before. I know that's exactly what he's going to go for, is to try to wear down my Deoxys, that one last hit. And I go into my Dragonite, and I'm thinking that because he's a sub-disable set, he might try to immediately go for a... sub to try to scout out my set, and then I can Hurricane break his sub, and then be at +2 for the Breloom and the Excadrill. However, that was me working under the assumption that he knew that my Dragonite was special, but I mean, like, okay, to be fair, who expects Dragonite to be special and, like, fully special at that? So, I mean, it makes sense that he just goes immediately for a Toxic to just try to wear down my Dragonite, as I probably, or Bandit E-Speed probably wouldn't have been able to OHKO from that range. And I'm going to go for the Agility, and with my Sky Plate, I will be able to knock out this Salazzle, or at least get a very good chunk off on something. As I go for the Hurricane right there, I could have gone for Roost, but I just felt like, okay, if I can get rid of Salazzle, maybe I have a chance with my Darkrai later. And now I'm going to go for a Hurricane once again, as he does end up getting the double Protect, and so my Dragonite is going to go down. Should have just gone for the Hurricane straight off the bat. So yeah, just not a whole lot is going my way this game, so I'm just going to have to go into my Deoxys. I know he can't go for the Protect. With my one last hit, I'm going to Psycho Boost something, knocks out the Salazzle, and my Deoxys does go down. So yeah, this is pretty much the beginning of the end, as he still does have the Breloom, and you will see Breloom is just going to Spore and beat the rest of my team. So yeah, that's going to be a GG, and much like last week, actually I think even a little more so than last week, this week just went very unfortunately. Just all things considered, like the flinch, the miss, the double Protect, all of it's just, I mean, it's unfortunate, but then again, I did have pretty decent, like, my luck wasn't bad in the CPC, so I mean, I guess I'm just having to pay the piper at this point. Like, it's kind of like, well, you had decent luck for this, so yeah, I mean, everybody has to have a run of bad luck at some point. So, like I said last week, I'd rather get it out of the way now. And yeah, so I mean, this is just kind of semantics at this point. I mean, you'll see that Breloom just ends up. I'm going to skip the turns just because, I mean, it really is Breloom just sporing and drain punching through the rest of my team. And we will go down 2-0. So, yeah, good game to Rattata. I was really sad that my Dragonite wasn't able to put in the work. But, I mean, it happens. Definitely happens. Everybody has those games. So, hope you guys enjoyed watching. Hopefully we don't get hacks next week. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers on that. But we do play my good buddy Ches. So, I don't know. Anything's up in the air. But, also, I definitely can't run 90% moves anymore. I've learned that with Psycho Boost and Light of Ruin. But anyway, hope you enjoyed watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this is Styx, signing out. Why not? See you guys.